All right, so we are back yet again. I've been working all day on some paperwork, on some hypothesis and theories I got, and I would say it's going well. I really would. I'm working on. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of like Star in a Jar, or like Core Castle, things of that nature. Some oddball topics, but I've been working on them, and they've always just kind of interested me. So I guess today's a little chit chat beforehand, because I'm probably going to start tomorrow on the majority of my stuff, just because I feel a little bit more confident about it. I'm getting over my anxiety, I guess you would call it, talking to the camera. It, it's weird for any and everybody who's starting to do things of this nature. It is. It's weird talking to a camera with a person on the backside of it, even though I'm talking to an inanimate object. It's a little strange for me. So I am getting better with that. With that being said, this main channel is it's starting off slow, but we're gonna pick up speed real quick. Okay, and the reason being of that is it's just I've been wanting to do this for a hot minute, but I don't know. I just keep stuttering, I guess you would say, to start. And anybody who's done things of this nature is you want to do it, you get nervous. You want to do it, you get anxious. You want to do it, something happens, you get depressed. You're and even though like just talking to the camera might be not be exciting for majority of people, and that's perfectly fine. I really do understand that. There might be those few people out there who can watch this video and can relate to like myself, or even can give myself some advice. So, for whoever out there that you want to give me some advice, type it in the comments. Come on, give it to me. I'm cool with it. I'm an open book. I take constructive criticism pretty well, I think, for the most part. Not always, as I'm not perfect. However, I do try. I really do. And this is me, putting the big boy pants on, and yeah, fixing things. So today I was working on some hypothesis with sonoluminescent bubbles, and what that means is there's an occurrence where we don't really know what causes them today. And yes, we're talking about some science today. If you don't want to listen to it, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to watch. Maybe just talking about it and listening to me might help you just calm your nerves a little bit, I guess you would say. Anywho, you can look it up for yourself. It's Star in a Jar, sonoluminescent bubbles. I call it acoustic cavitation bubbles. So it's a form of science we don't really understand. Nobody quite seems to really get the point of it, what happens to it, why it happens, and I'm gonna do a video on it tomorrow. And but anyway, it's a glass container or a quartz container, and during a glass container, it's got to be pretty thick for it to happen. But you put a ultrasound through it. So you put, imagine headphones on each side of a glass container, or my head. So a headphone, and then you are putting ultrasound, which is anywhere from 30,000 vibrations per second or 30,000 hertz, and you are putting it with this ear and this ear, and in the middle. And obviously, I'm just using my head. So, but this would be a glass container, a quartz container, something of that nature. And when the ultrasound waves collide in the middle, you get produces strange light that flashes many, many, many times per second, on and off, on and off. It's got a blue hue to it, and makes the bubble real flazzily. It does some very strange things. But they call it a star in a jar, and nobody seems to know why. I have a very good hypothesis, and we're going to get into it tomorrow as I'm finished writing it down right now. And it was just getting a little bit late, and I wanted to do my upload, talk about it. And it's, yeah, I feel really good about it. I think I have a solid hypothesis on why it's happening, or what's going on. And again, I have a 10th grade education, or GD equivalent. So, I don't mind taking a shot in the dark and putting some light in there and trying to see what's going on, because that's just what you got to do sometimes, if that makes any sense. So a lot of people will, they're going to judge, they're going to hate. I mean, that's, hey, how can we explore new ideas on topics without people actually attempting to fix issues that other people aren't. And what I mean by that is, like, I worked on drilling rigs. I've worked for Walmart logistics, distribution, and transportation. A lot of y'all know me from there. And then, but I've also went and worked on solar farms. And when I was working on the drilling rigs, I was literally the guy putting, the drill bit on the pipe, doing BHA, bottom hole assembly, tripping in, tripping out, all that good stuff. I was the guy doing all the dirty work. That was me. I was covered in oil all the time. Well, oil-based mud, not oil per se. So, yeah, and we all know it's like you got to look at oil, drilling oil, and it doesn't matter who you are. It's just not good for the environment. It doesn't matter. It's just not. Long term, short term, there's no term in which oil is good for being a byproduct for what we use for things. Now, have we become dependent on it? Yes. Can we get off that nipple? Yes. Yes, we can. Will it take a while? Probably. I would think so. But also, when I got laid off from the drilling rig, and then I went and worked with, I think it was like wood construction or something like that, and we did solar panels, my dad and I, and we were the ones who was actually physically driving the heavy equipment, and I was driving around the solar panels, and I broke tons of them, tons by accident, just because accidents happen, and let's say I'd be driving one and I tip a box over by accident, and what would happen is that you break the film or the screen on the solar panel. You would think no big deal, right? It's a big deal. And what I mean by that is it's a lot bigger deal than people are making it out to be. They're like, no, it's not, no, it's just a little bit of chemicals. It's a lot of chemicals. And they're forever chemicals. And what that means is once they're in the water, they're in the water. It's not good for us. Because so you're breaking solar panels, and we got sued, by the way. The company I worked for literally got sued for disrupting waterways with overflow or overspill from mud, right? And so it wasn't like a direct lawsuit from chemicals entering the water. However, I was part of that. I really was. I was the guy who broke panels by accident. It's just the nature of the job. But I remember I was like, so we got sued for mud getting in the water, but they didn't even talk about the chemicals getting in the water, which I know for a fact happened because I was the one that accidentally did it. And just like everybody else, I probably moved, I don't even know, probably like 5,000 solar panels during the time I worked there. And that's a real oddball number. I truly don't know. But I worked there for a few months and doing that. So, and I probably broke 25 panels, maybe. I don't know, something like that. But just thinking about that, I broke 25 panels, and that was just me. And I thought I was doing a pretty good job. And who knows how many other panels got broken. But the moral of the story is the company I worked for, Wood, and it was Virginia, Louisa. They're building a solar farm. They got sued by the county for disrupting waterways because of the mud that was getting into the water. They didn't even say anything about the chemicals. Nothing. How come we're not talking about that? Think about it. So solar isn't the answer for everything. Drilling rigs are not the answer for sure. And trust me, I worked on them for 3 years and I've seen everything. They're pretty good about like cleaning things up. I will say they're, the company I worked for, Patterson UTI, for the most part, they did their job. We were real good about cleaning things up because we always had safety people out there. It was a well-known thing. But at the end of the day, you're still drilling oil. Think Deepwater Horizon. Open well cap for 3 months, did catastrophic global damage, or at least damage, that bad of damage in the Gulf. Yeah. those are the ramifications I'm concerned about. Is like global warming. Yes, is definitely a thing. We are definitely having an adverse reaction to the environment. If you don't believe that, do this. Yeah. Okay, I'll stop being weird. So what I'm getting at with this is, I'm just some dude. However, I don't see anybody actually facilitating a process and talking about it. We see people doing climate change rallies, and we're going protesting in the streets and laying in the streets and blocking people from getting to the hospital. Um, I guess I understand your frustration, but that is not the answer to go lay in the street and protest that global warming needs to stop. I see the frustration. However, a better solution is for all of us to tag team it and lift each other up in a positive way and talk about real world issues in a common sense voice, right? That sounds cool. So, I'm proposing a few ideas over the next few days, and I've been gathering my thoughts. They're not complete by any means. However, I think we can hand this off and have real world discussions about fixing this planet in a positive manner, uplifting people, making people happy again. Because I do. I feel like our global happiness of this planet is not good. I see more sad people than happy people. And that's wild. That is not good. We're like at a happiness rating of like 6.5 out of 10 on a global scale. And yeah, those are rookie numbers, y'all. Rookies. Okay. You pump those numbers up. So I've been working pretty hard on a few things. And again, I've not built anything yet. I started building a few, a contraption, I guess you would say, of like Ed Lee Scallon's wheel. I didn't really get anywhere. I got some good concepts down, and I could understand my brain, like trying to figure it out. But yeah, I love troubleshooting things. Like it's just, it's what I like to do, and it's pretty ridiculous to say that, like, you know, cleaning up the planet, I believe, is potentially easier than we're making it out to be, and maybe corporate greed and lust is getting in the way of actual cleanliness and positivity. What I'm getting at with that is we have tons of billionaires all over this planet, tons of them, right? I don't know if you guys know, you have a net worth of like $50 billion. That is unreal. It's like so much freaking money. Why do you need that much money? Why? Let's, take some of that and let's invest it in cleaning up the earth in a real way, and not just sitting there like, well, we should do this, and then pitter and patter and argue. What I'm getting at is, I'm not seeing anybody really doing the work per se. And if they are doing the work, then why is it getting like scrubbed out, or, people accepting money and things of that nature to, shut up, I guess you would say, or be quiet. Yeah. So we're going to go down that route. And I definitely want to contribute to a positive change in the world. So if I can potentially give off some science to some people, and they make, either fun of it, or they're like, okay, well, this guy might actually be onto something. Let's see what he's working with. It's not even particularly, it's not about me. This is everybody. So, because everybody lives on this planet, right? You care about the planet, right? So we should fix it, right? Yeah. And it's as simple as, I made this concept, or just, analogy in my big video. If you're walking down the street and you see trash on the sidewalk, it's just been left there, and then you look at it, you acknowledge it, and you're like, never want to talk about it again. But 3 hours later, you're complaining to your friend like, yeah, this planet is dirty. The streets are dirty. There's no safe place. I'm like, you are part of the problem, right? And what I mean by that is, I've been part of the problem plenty of times. it still am, right? But what a common sense adult does is makes a reasonable explanation or request with reasonable information behind it, and just be like, well, why aren't we talking about these things and actually moving forward versus bickering about, who, what color you are, like red or blue. Like, why does political stance matter when the entire planet needs to be fixed, right? On a positive scale. So hopefully this goes well and we can move forward. And I don't even know, my stuff might not even work at all because it's pretty oddball. It's pretty out there. However, I feel like it could potentially go somewhere if I could hand this information off to some super smart people. And yeah, we can, coagulate thoughts back and forth. Yes, I said coagulate. But yeah, share thoughts back and forth and come up with a real world solution for some of these problems we're having. And yeah, yes, I am. I'm literally attempting to tackle some of these issues. I don't know. I feel like I can help, and somebody can even help me in return. So it's like that exchange of information, knowledge, love, happiness. I think we just need to learn how to say "I love you" more. Like, is it really that hard? To anybody, not just like your significant other or family member, random person on the street. Yeah, you look at them and you're like, that person needs "I love you." Think about just something small as that. Like, I've done it before. I told a random person, and this is a real story. It's like, hey, you need a hug? You want to say, yeah, I love you? It's okay. And I tell people randomly all the time on Facebook now. I see your, don't get me wrong, I don't get everybody because it's a lot. But if I see somebody on Facebook and, I can tell they're having depression issues, which I have had plenty, that's perfectly fine. Nobody's perfect. I've gotten to a point now where, like, I rather expend my own energy and message this completely random person and just say, hey, I don't know you. You don't know me really. We're just Facebook friends. I see you're having some hard times. I just want to let you know I love you. It's really that simple. And I've done that to quite a few people, and I've gotten some pretty good responses back. And I know that sounds strange, but I think this world is missing some love, I guess you would call that, and happiness. So it ain't going to be perfect by any means, but yeah, this is the route I'm going every day. So hopefully every day will be something, whether it's just me sitting here talking, me working out, or me talking about science, going places. It's really that simple. I'm a real nice guy. I'm not an angry person. I used to be angry, and it's just violence isn't the way. It's just not. Being angry or holding on to regret and those, like, oh, this person did this to me. I'm like, at the end of the day, gotta let it go, because that weight is only going to hold you down. And trust me, it's held me down for a while. And yeah, just woosah, let it all go and just move forward with the lives. And yeah. Anyway, this concludes today. We're going to keep it short. So yeah, tomorrow probably starts the first of long uploads. Well, longer, probably like 30, 40 minutes, maybe even an hour. Anyway, bye, y'all. I love y'all. Bye-bye.